Welcome to another episode of All Four Downs, the NFL picks. And ladies and gentlemen, we are on week 2 of the NFL. And Hector and myself, it was pretty interesting to see these week 1 games because it almost felt like we were watching at times some scrimmage games. But then things got a little interesting over there toward the end of each game.
Look, scrimmage games, yeah. I mean, we talking about high scoring games. I mean, this is like it was weird to see that, okay, a lot of starters didn't play during the preseason, and yet we go out banging point after point, no defense in week 1. It was pretty good to see that. It was not boring. So if this is
No,
any
no.
indication of what the season is going to be like, let's get ready for some football.
I'm just worried about teams that started hot and then get shut down in the second half. I'm going to identify that per each pick.
Right.
Also, teams that started slow and ended up taking over the games. That actually happened. But then there's a few teams that look like they're ready for the Super Bowl, like the Kansas City Chiefs or the San Francisco 49ers. Or was it just uh week 1 jitters for all the teams and stuff, like
Yeah,
remember there are 18 weeks in the season,
big time. An extra week.
17 games, and like you said, the starters really don't really do much during preseason, but now we get to see them, and it's going to be interesting because the results of week 1 relates to our picks for week 2.
Right.
And this show is brought to you by CMG Sports Central. You can visit our website at cmgsportscentral.com. All Four Downs podcast as we begin with Thursday's game, week 2, with the Buffalo Bills at Miami Dolphins.
When I looked at this, when I watched both games on Sunday, I was not impressed with either one of these two teams. They looked at both sloppy. It was like they both came back they were both second half teams going into this. Okay. And I can honestly say that, I feel like I'm going to be more in tune with every single team now that I actually bought the Sunday NFL ticket this year. So now I get to really, really dissect these players and plays on offense and defense a little bit more. So I'm watching these two games side by side, and I'm like, what is going on with these two teams? I mean, Buffalo could not stop the run. Arizona was just like doing Kyler Murray was doing what he wanted to do. Connor was running the ball all over the place. Miami couldn't even get their stuff together. I'm just going to keep this PG here. But for some reason, I don't know what the coaches said at the halftime, because the second half, they both turned down for what?
I like what you did there. I
I
like
mean,
it.
good Lord. But look, these two got a lot of history together, right? And
Hmm.
we know that Buffalo has dominated the series in the last, 9 games so far
Well,
against
they've won
Miami.
4 straight games so far.
Right. But like
Hmm.
8 of the last 9 or something to that nature, whatever, you know. And so it's kind of a little surprising to me to see that Buffalo is the underdog in this game on the road, but it shouldn't surprise me. So if you want me to kick this off, I will go ahead and start things off, since I did have the better record than you last week
Oh, here we
o-
go.
to
All
open up the
right.
season.
2 games better.
Yes,
Okay. All
it's,
right.
that's still an
Yeah.
arm length behind. You're still an arm length
Go
behind.
right ahead.
But look, okay, I am going to stick with the hot hand here. I'm going with Buffalo. I'm going to take Buffalo on the road here. I just think that Josh Allen, he's the better quarterback, in my opinion, in this situation. He has the better weapons. I think he's going to be able to spread this ball around a little bit. And hopefully, they won't make the mistake they did last week, and they try to go ahead and stop any kind of run attack that the Miami may try to have going into this game. Because if not, then it's going to be another long day for Buffalo. And this Miami team is different than Arizona. If Miami does establish a run game, I don't see Buffalo making any comeback if they fall behind against the Dolphin team.
All
So
right. Well, I too picked the Bills. Since 2021, the Bills have won all of their Thursdays games.
Hmm. Okay.
All of their games, Thursdays. Bills have won 4 straight games, to include that one playoff game last season. Miami lost to Cincinnati 27-15 back on September 29th, 2022, the last Thursday game that they've been on. Okay. And I'm going to tell you something. Miami did win the game, but did Miami step it up or did the Jaguars falter? That is what I'm scratching my head, because the fact that the Jags had the lead and then all of a sudden Miami did a turnaround, I'm just curious to see, was it Miami that stepped up or did the Jaguars fall out? And I need this game to prove to me that Miami is legit. Okay. Now Miami's expected to finish on top in the
Right.
AFC East,
Right.
right?
Right.
And they need this game at home. However, being that it's a Thursday game, it's a short week, just got to give it to the Bills.
Yeah. Let's give it to the
However,
Bills.
a lot of people picking Miami for this game, though. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
I see that.
No. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't go wrong either way. Honestly, I think you know. I heard somebody say that these teams are the two best teams in the AFC East. Well, there's only 4 teams, so I mean,
I won't go that far. It's still
yeah,
early in the season to tell. All right, but we want to talk about the East, the NFC East. They claim that the Cowboys could be the best. Now that they signed Dak Prescott to the highest paid quarterback before the game started, and then in fact that everybody else is coming into play, and the Cowboys, they were victorious over the Browns again, week one. On the other side, the Saints are trying to prove like the best team in the South. They went ahead and manhandled the Panthers, but then again, the Panthers are like the bye week of the NFL.
exactly.
91% are picking Dallas, but with Hurricane Francine hitting uh tonight, I think it was an hour ago that it had hit landfall there in Louisiana. I just don't know what effects will happen in preparation for the game, knowing that the game is at Dallas, or if there's anything in a state of emergency or anything like that, will they postpone it or what? I'm still gonna pick the Dallas Cowboys because this is their first home game, and they always do good at home, regardless of their history. Because in the last 4 or 5 games, it used to alternate back and forth. Saints win, Cowboys win. Saints win, Cowboys win. It goes back and forth like a yo-yo. But on this one, I'm taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, when you talk about the effects of the hurricane, I just kind of think about it in the sense that New Orleans will have to go back home to play Philadelphia. How would that affect them? You know what I'm saying? Would they do what they did that one time and maybe stay in the state of Texas and play in San Antonio as a home game, or what? Yeah. So this could maybe mentally affect them a little bit, but I think as a professional NFL team, as professional players that they are, they will get their stuff together and figure things out. But for this game right here, I'm sorry, but the Saints are going to get a heavy dose of this Cowboy defense with Micah Parsons leading the charge here. And I think the Cowboys are just going to pick up right where they left off with Cleveland. And they're just going to take down the Saints team who looked it impressive. But then again, like you said, who are they playing? You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying? So let's see if Carr can do that against this Cowboy defense. He's not going to be able to light it up like he did with the Carolina. I'm sorry. So he's going to have more pressure put on him in this one. And
And
so,
the secondaries are much quicker than the Panthers. Absolutely.
yeah,
We
give me the
both agree
Cowboys.
with Dallas. All right,
Yes.
fair enough. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Detroit Lions. A lot of people are favoring Detroit. I am one of them. The Lions 2 game win streak right now against Tampa Bay, including the win in the playoffs. The Bucks come off victorious over Washington. Detroit defeats the Rams in overtime, but there's a concern because Detroit has shown themselves second half. Could they redeem themselves? And Tampa Bay looks good, but I'm liking the Lions more. I think they have more weapons in that team than Tampa Bay, and that is the reason why I'm taking the Lions over the Bucks.
Yeah, I think the Lions they will establish, you know, a point in this game where they're gonna shut down Tampa Bay's run game, forcing Mayfield to try to throw this ball quite a bit, and that's not gonna vote well for him there. The last week, Sunday night, Detroit played a good team in the Rams. Okay, that there's a little history there between the two, so I give that. So there's no fault to where the way the Lions won that game. But this is a rematch of the wild card game from last year. So I see Detroit coming back out on top in this game. They will dominate the rush attack and take down a Buccaneers team that I feel that still have holes in their defense in their new defense going into this year. So give me the Lions to win that game.
Indianapolis Colts goes on the road to Green Bay Packers. Now the Colts have won 3 straight games, and their last meet in November 22nd, 2020, they actually won the game in overtime 34-31. Now, the Packers will be without Jordan Love, despite that the head coach is saying that he's very optimistic of his return.
Mm,
This is your franchise quarterback with a a sprained MCL. I think I'll be careful. I think you could afford him to step sitting down for the next couple of weeks. They got Malik Willis practicing with the first team. They might be calling up Sean Clifford in the practice squad.
yeah,
Would that make a difference, especially going against the Colts? I tell you what, this is going to be a tight game. And if you're in there with the spread, I'm safer. I mean, I don't even know who's. Well, I mean, a lot of people are going for the Colts. So I'm gonna assume that the Colts are a favorite
right,
according to the spread. But I'll be careful because this could be tighter than a field goal. All
right,
right.
right.
I am picking the Colts to win.
I am too. I just think without Jordan Love there, I think Shane Steichen will see what you know. He's looking at what the Philly did. Okay, with Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, how they handle that that defensive side for Green Bay. I think with him having Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor, I think that's another good 1-2 punch that could probably exploit this Packer defense. And I'm sorry, there's without Jordan Love there to handle that offense, I don't see Malik Willis doing that much to help overcome them in a victory.
He's been around. This is the second team.
Yeah,
I know he got traded, but to the Green Bay Packers from the Tennessee Titans. But the thing is that he hasn't had that much snaps
right,
to
right.
really, and we haven't really seen him in the NFL level. Yeah, he might have been an outstanding quarterback in college, but the NFL is a totally different, is a
And,
different beast.
and real quick, I didn't really like that game in Brazil. To me, the field was too hard, too tough. And I feel my personal opinion, the reason why the score what it was the way it was is because there was a lot of missed tackles because there was a lot of slipping.
Mm-hmm.
There was players slipping that caused them to miss tackles, open plays. I mean, big run plays. I mean, look, we love a good offensive game, but not at the expense that the field is going to hurt these players. And I feel if it was anywhere else but that kind of field, I think Jordan Love would have been playing. So it's just my little spill on that.
All right, let's move on to the New York Jets visiting the Tennessee Titans.
What does he say? RELAX.
If you're gonna, there was something on the media about him saying it in a different way of relax, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you could talk all you want because you're going against the Tennessee Titans. Okay, I've already seen what was exposed with the Jets and the 49ers game, and the Jets are not there. They're not there. Okay, that offense is not clicking. I don't care. Right, you can practice all you want, but I am worried about the Jets when they do play against teams that are contention in the playoffs. I just don't see the Jets advancing at all. I mean, I know it's week one, but it's just something that is just there's just something not clicking, but I could be wrong. They start 0-1. Could they turn things around? Of course. But I just don't feel like this is a Jets that Many people think like Aaron Rodgers could do it. And we're talking about a guy that only been to one Super Bowl. He only cares about being MVP. I mean, that's his Super Bowl. You know what I mean? On the other side, there's Tennessee Titans. Their last three of the last four games against the Jets, regardless with Rodgers or no Rodgers. Okay. And I feel like the Jets will bounce back to even their record 1-1 uh after the completion of this game. So I'm taking the Jets.
I think Tennessee's defense is a little bit more improved this year than they are last year. I know on offense, they lost a big key in their running back. And I think in this situation, the Jets have the better quarterback, in my opinion. But overall, when you look at the whole scheme of things, can Aaron Rodgers get the ball out there to his players? I mean, there was a lot of miscues there against the 49ers. And okay, we're not going to use the excuse, well, they are the defending NFC champions. I mean, no, you got a veteran quarterback, behind that snap with the New York Jets. He should know better how to get that ball around, and he just didn't do that well. And so I think the way the Tennessee Titans played against the Bears, they gave up that game. They should have won that
Mm-hmm.
game.
Yes.
Their defense was on point. So I'm going with the Tennessee Titans also in this game to win this game. I'm not going to say it's an upset. I know they got the Jets probably favored to win this game, but are they really favored?
So you're taking the Titans.
Yeah, I'm taking the Titans. Remember the
All right.
Titans.
Remember the Titans. I'll
See what I
remember
did there?
that pick. Thanks for the win. All right, moving on. Had to say that. I did. I know. San Francisco 49ers on the road against the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. And your point is the
Your pick.
Vikings, the 49ers.
All right. Um, Brock Purdy, Jordan Mason, Debo Samuel. I could go on and on and on for
Right.
everyone that contributed, except for their star wide receiver who could be dropping passes, yet he got paid, and dropped passes. No, I don't care about his name. And the thing is, they did it without Christian McCaffrey, and I think they could do it without him for the next couple of weeks, so that way he doesn't get hurt. And for the Vikings beating up on the Giants, well, I mean, that's another bye week.
There you
Let's
go.
let's see if your offense with Sam Darnold can handle the San Francisco 49ers defense. Give me San Francisco.
I like the 49ers.
The Seattle Seahawks visit the New England Patriots. And in this game, the Seahawks did defeat the Broncos, but the Seahawks offense was ugly. Their running game, ugly. How did the Broncos get two safeties
Well,
in
that
the
first
game?
well, that first one was because of a hold in the end zone.
Right? But it doesn't matter. Safety's a safety.
I know, I know. Yeah,
You know
you're
what I
right.
mean?
You should know
And
better than
and
that.
the second one, the ball didn't cross over the line. I got it, but it's still a safety. And the thing is, I'm at the bar watching the game, and the fans like watch this other safety, and then boom, there's a safety, and I'm like, damn.
It looked like
So
we were
the
playing
Broncos got
baseball.
some light over there. But what's up with Seattle? Okay, yeah, Seattle won. Yeah, I understand, but it was very ugly for Seattle. But on
Yeah,
the other side, you got the New England Patriots, which the Bengals usually start very slow.
yeah.
So what's gonna happen? I got Seattle Seahawks beating the New England Patriots.
Oh, I think they're gonna win that game too. I think if Geno Smith and then with Kenneth Walker, I think they would be able to do their thing
Well,
against
Kenneth
the.
Walker is listed as questionable,
Uh,
but I still
I
feel
yeah.
like they got more running backs. But don't get me wrong, New England is well known for their defense,
No,
but
they
can
are.
their offense, you know, step up? Let's put it that. They're gonna have to put over 21 points in this game.
Yeah, I think so.
Talking about the Giants
Oh
earlier, the
my
New York
God.
Giants go on the road against the Washington Commanders.
Is this one the toilet bowl?
Too early to tell. Week 2, baby. Week 2.
Is it really too early? It could be. I don't care if it's too late in the season between these two teams.
Mm.
I mean, these two teams have been known to even tie each other. That's how sad they both are.
Mm.
But the question is, who's better than the other in a one game scenario? And I hate to say it, but I think Washington is the better team right now than the Giants. Dude, what can you tell me that the what good can you tell me the Giants are going to get out of this game that they couldn't even do against Minnesota? I mean, they got the turnover with the ball with Minnesota, and all they got was a field goal out of it. Dude, that is unexcusable.
I
Okay,
agree with you.
after that, Minnesota never made another mistake in that game. At least Washington made it a game against Tampa Bay for the first half before they got blown out the game.
I guess there's a question is will the Giants tank this season to get Carson back from the University of Georgia for the NFL draft? As we have to wait to see on that. Giants are 3-0-1 in the last 4 games against the Commanders,
Right, right.
known for that tie game. But they have Dan Quinn, who is a former defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. He is the head coach, knowing how he could game plan against Daniel Jones. That's the reason why I'm picking the Commanders to win.
I'm glad you good. I'm glad. I don't know why you didn't pick the Vikings last week. I don't know what you saw.
It's week one.
Ah, come
I
on.
ain't seen nobody.
But again,
Look, I ain't seen no preseason games because it wasn't worth watching. I'm not gonna look at second and third string and see who's gonna make the cut. It just didn't make any sense to watch.
but I
And if
even
you look,
told you that the Giants could not even win the opening season game.
it was close a year or two ago. You know what I mean?
Oh, they yeah, 2 years ago when they beat Tennessee, when Brian Daboll's inaugural season as head coach, and after that, what has he
Yeah,
done? He hasn't done
absolutely
nothing.
nothing. Daniel
Exactly.
Jones is the one. Blame him.
Oh my god.
Los Angeles Chargers visits the Carolina Panthers. The Chargers.
This is a bye week, right?
They say everybody got one. This
I
is two.
I know it's too early to say, but I think the race for the tank is between the Giants and the Panthers. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, something's got to give. So, yep, you picking the Panthers, right?
Yeah, okay.
I tried.
Yeah, you try.
I
I
tried.
haven't got. I've slept since then.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. We'll move on from this. Cleveland Browns visits the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both teams are 0-1. A lot of fans think that the Jacksonville Jaguars will win this game. However, I mean, the Browns did play against the Dallas Cowboys, losing 33-17. But in the second half of that game, the Browns did outscore the Cowboys 14-13. They do have a 2-game winning streak against the Jaguars. But
Hmm.
on the other side, the Jags blew a 17-7 lead.
Right.
So again, like, was Miami better or did they stink it up? You see
No.
what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
it's crazy. You go 17-7 lead, and then Miami wins 20-17. They got
Right.
shut donut styled on the third and fourth quarter.
Exactly.
So I'm going to go with the Browns in this game.
You would have expected more out of Trevor Lawrence in that game against Miami, to close it out. At least, there he had a chance to win that game. Deshaun Watson could not do nothing against that Cowboy defense.
Mm-mm,
Absolutely nothing. But
nothing.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game so we can have a little difference between us finally. So, look, both teams were inconsistent on offense in the passing game. Both their running games, smell like cow patties and over there in Fort Cavasso on the West Range Road. For whoever who knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so it's going to come down between Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. Who's going to be the better quarterback? Who's going to make the less mistakes in this game? I'm going with Trevor Lawrence. It's sad to say that one of these two good quarterbacks going to start off 0-2.
Is it good? Are they really good though? Or we're just
They,
pretending here that they were good?
you know what? They're better than most quarterbacks in the NFL.
Las Vegas Raiders visit the Baltimore Ravens.
What's that famous book saying? Quote the Ravens nevermore. I don't know.
I have no idea, but you know what? I have an idea that you're gonna give me a pick.
Give me the Ravens at home, coming off that toe loss to the
I had
Chiefs.
I had that on my notes, by the way.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
come on, that was if you couldn't get any closer than that from good. And I knew they said they were going to go for two. I believe they would have gone for two. They're going to leave the game right there, not going to overtime. I respect them for that. That could have made a difference. They could have beaten the Chiefs. But look, you know, the Ravens they got us a well-rounded, stable team here. Okay, and adding Derrick Henry is just going to make things just a little bit better for the Raiders. Well, they got they got they got mashed like mashed potatoes by the Chargers rush attack, and I could just imagine what the Ravens are going to do to them when they got their home opener. So, give me the Ravens to take down the Raiders.
I too have the Ravens over the Raiders. Los Angeles Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams are 0-1. Both teams, well, the Rams lost to the Lions, which was a great game going to
Right.
overtime. Big ups to the Rams for because look, it was a fault match all the way to forcing it to overtime. Um, that's right. They tied it with a field goal at the end to force it overtime, but eventually they lost. On the other side, the Cardinals, Murray led the team in rushes.
Yes, he
5
did.
carries for 57 yards,
Right.
where James Conner has 16 carries for only
And
50 yards. So
yes,
what does that tell you about that offensive line? Not that great when it comes to the run game. And if you're going to try to be more passing to do something, it's not fitting well against the Rams defense. So I'm taking the Rams to win this game.
look, if Murray's going to win some games, he's going to have to get that ball out there in the air, and he's going to have to get Marvin Harrison Jr. out. You know, he's going to have to start doing something with him. I mean, because I said it with that Baltimore Kansas City game, and once I said it, it was echoed through the announcement that through the announced commentating team that these quarterbacks they can't be running the ball a lot of times. They're going to eventually get hurt. Murray, just like Jackson, cannot be doing this. You have to rely on your running backs. Okay, Murray has Connor. He's going to have to rely on him to do most of that workhorse, that running game back there. Okay, but in this situation, man, I'm telling you, the Rams, they're just a better team. I mean, will they struggle? Maybe, again, on the defensive side, maybe a little bit, but I think overall with Matthew Stafford on the offensive side, he's got the weapons. We know he's got the weapons. Okay. So give me an 8 ounce full of cup and let's do this. Cooper style.
Pittsburgh Steelers on the road against Denver Broncos. Now,
Oh my.
Bo Nix is on his rookie season, and I know there are times that his timing was off, and they were pushing the ball, they weren't pushing the ball, and there was a lot of help from the defense. On the other side, you got the Steelers, which is probably a revenge game for Russell Wilson visiting the Broncos because he got fired from there. Um, I don't think that this is a level game where it's going to be competitive. And for the Steelers, for Russell, maybe I got type of game. I mean, you give it a couple of years, and the Broncos will be back in playoff contention because I do believe in Bo Nix. But however, this game, this quick, I'm taking the Steelers over the Broncos.
I don't think Russell Wilson may be starting this game.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. It is a little concerning. I mean, seeing that how the Steelers is one of two teams who won last week without an offensive touchdown.
Hmm.
That you cannot do that week after week. You got lucky against a Falcon team kicking 6 field goals because you got a good kicker who can do that. Okay, but Mike Tomlin got to manage his players better than this. Seriously. I mean,
I
this
mean, I
is not
got it. It was what 18-10,
right. Yeah.
right?
And so that tells you the Steelers had the ball a lot of times, a lot of scoring drives that resulted in field goals compared to the Falcons, scoring drives. I'm sorry, but I'm going with the Steelers, but they got to turn this around. You cannot defend. You cannot depend on T.J. Watt and that defense to always get you out of trouble. Okay, they're gonna have to start putting some points in the end zone. They got to get that ball into the end zone. If this is the time to do it against a rookie like Bo Nix and that Bronco defense. I know Bo Nix don't play defense. I'm just saying, that
Well,
Steelers.
Wilson didn't even play this game.
No, no, no.
It was Justin Fields.
It was
But you
Fields that
think
started.
Russell Wilson will play?
No, I don't think he will. I don't think he
Well,
will. But that's the thing. I don't trust Justin Fields to get this Steeler team anywhere far this year.
mm,
I mean, he was running all over the place against the Falcons defense. He was trying to find a pocket to throw the ball to. That is not a good look. Okay. He's going to be the reason why this team's going to finish under 500 for the first time in Tomlin's career
mm.
if he doesn't get his act together.
I don't
Okay.
think that Fields will start. Knowing that it is against the Broncos, I just don't see it. And
Yeah,
I
but
know that Russell Wilson was dealing with a calf injury. He's gonna be at his best for this Sunday. You just can't let this game go by and be like, damn, I'm gonna miss this game. I'm sorry. I just
yeah,
don't see it happening.
but you can't put your health at risk just for a
Russell
game.
Wilson starts this game, Steelers wins.
I mean, Justin Fields starts, they'll barely win.
I don't think they lose if Justin Fields starts.
Well, they didn't lose against the Falcons, even though they
Because
should
it
have.
was the Falcons week 1.
Okay, well, this is the Broncos week 2. What's your point?
I don't trust Justin Fields.
I
Just
don't
like I
either.
never trusted him with the Chicago Bears. So
Oh
I
my God.
think he's overrated. I've always said he was overrated. But people celebrated when they drafted him, and that was the only celebration. But I could continue on and on and that. But I got the Steelers. Who you got?
I got the Steelers.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Then why are we still talking? Let's go. Let's move on to the next one. The Cincinnati Bengals versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, in this game, under Joe Burrow, the Bengals have never lost against the Kansas City Chiefs. As a matter of fact, he is 2-0. Last year, the Bengals did lose to the Chiefs, but Burrow was already out for the season, and that was in Week 17 game. But the Bengals will visit the Kansas City Chiefs. They know how to play there, but there's one discrepancy there. Once again, under Joe Burrow, the Bengals have never won a Week 2 game. Never won. If you don't believe me, go check their schedule since Joe Burrow's rookie season. They've never won a Week 2 game. But they could beat the Chiefs with Joe Burrow. Anybody else, it's an automatic loss. The Ravens could have taken down the Chiefs, but then again, that toenail, or that little tip of that sneaker, you know what I mean? Cleats, whatever you want to call it. I am telling you, that streak will be over. The Bengals are going to win this Sunday over the Chiefs.
I mean, I respect your opinion. I'm not going to sit here and say, like you told me last week, are you crazy? But no, I got the Chiefs winning this game. You know, you're right. The Bengals are a slow starting team. We're in week 2 right now. Okay. There's a lot of noise going on with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Okay. Contracts, injuries, whatever the case may be. Are the Bengals mentally focused for this game against the Chiefs? They already know they got their number. You're right. Burrow got Mahomes' number. No arguing that. But is he going to be mentally prepared for this game at Arrowhead where the crowd is just unbelievably ridiculous? Okay. And it's another AFC North opponent back to back weeks. Okay. And this poses a challenge for the Chiefs, seeing how they beat the Ravens at home. Now they got the Bengals at home. So I haven't even really looked at the schedule. So that tells me, are they going on the road to Cleveland? You know what I'm saying? I mean, so there's going to be challenges down the road for Kansas City, but I think this is going to be a strong argument by winning this game that they are going back to the Super Bowl. That's a strong argument.
I
But
already
they, ha-
got them going back to the Super Bowl.
but
I
they will
mean,
have to beat. But I agree. They have to beat the Bengals because if
they
they
will
beat
be
the
they will be at Cleveland and they will be at Pittsburgh.
you
But
see,
that
so
ain't gonna
that
happen until December.
right. But that still composes a problem. Seeing how you got two of the toughest teams out of the AFC North, and if you so happen to beat the Bengals, you already beat the top two teams in the North. Now you got the
Mhm.
other two teams. You can't still take it for granted, but still, that anything can happen. But right now, we're talking about week 2. Give me the Chiefs to beat the Bengals and and color their stripes red instead of orange.
All right. Sunday night football. Chicago Bears versus the Houston Texans. I have the Texans winning. I will go ahead and support CJ Stroud over Caleb Williams. Give me the Texans.
You know, I was just talking about the Steelers. Now I'm talking about the Bears. They're the other offensive. They're the other team that won without scoring an offensive touchdown. Their defense stepped it up against the Tennessee Titans, especially that pick six. I was just all over the place when I saw that pick six. My wife is like, "Which game are you watching?" I'm like, "I'm watching the one at the bottom where he just ran it back for a touchdown." You know,
Mhm.
I hand and eye coordination. You know what I'm saying, with the remote in your eyeballs, you got to know which way you're going there.
Right.
You know, Caleb Williams looked decent for his first start against the Tennessee Titans. But again, you know, this Tennessee Titan team is not this Houston Texan team. CJ Stroud, he's on a whole new level. Like, what's that rap song? On a whole new level.
Mm, fair enough. I like it.
Give me the Texans.
All right. We're going ahead and Monday Night Football.
Da,
The
da, da,
Atlanta
da.
Falcons versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We've already talked about how the Falcons barely scored. The Philadelphia Eagles, with the conditions over there in Brazil, they did defeat the Packers, but this is their first home game. I'm
Mhm.
going for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's the wrap in my book. Who you got?
I'm going for the Birds.
Okay.
The,
You're going to
the
tell
the
me which one it is, right?
yeah, the one that's facing the other one.
Yes, exactly. Good job. Nice
no,
try.
no, look, I'm going with the Eagles. I just don't see Saquon having another crazy game like he did. I
He can
think
still
he'll.
have a crazy game. I
I
can
don't
still
think so.
see a crazy games going there. Give him a couple of more touchdowns. That's fine. Get it out the way. But I'm telling you right now, don't get hurt. Just saying. He's always fragile. He is a fragile type of dude. Just saying.
He is. He is. I mean, kudos, I guess. You 3 touchdowns against the Packers, but and they should have it somewhat easy now that you're back at home in the States, in your hometown against the Falcons,
Mm.
who couldn't even stop the Steelers from kicking 6 field goals in that game. Just imagine
Hey,
what Jalen Hurts is going to do.
but, but they didn't score a touchdown.
No, you're right, but I guarantee you, within the first 3 ball possessions that the Eagles have, they will score a touchdown, and it'll be in the first quarter. Book it.
All right. Bucket. All right. Fair enough. I like it.
I'm gonna be like Frank. I get an extra point if that happens.
Oh, hell no. Get out of here. Well, I see a lot of people joining in right now to our podcast. I appreciate your support and everything else. But if you missed the show, by all means, you could go ahead and tune into our channel on the YouTube, All Four Downs, Facebook, and also cmgsportscentral.com to catch up with the latest of our picks. Who do you think is going to win this week? Would you challenge us? Can you get us? Leave your message there in our website. But other than that, good luck, everyone, for all the sports bettors. Be
Mm.
safe, be responsible. I got my tickets in already. I got 3, as a matter of fact, 3 here and 2 for college. So I'm ready for this weekend.
Well, I have a unanimous NFL picker this year who's done better than both of us for week 1 so far. I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
we'll keep that on down low.
yeah,
Yeah.
this person, if this unanimous picker decides to do well consistently, we're gonna have to get him on our show as a special guest.
Outstanding. I'm always waiting for that challenge.
Yes,
Just as long as they can back it up. Give me some
that's right.
evidence. Yes.
We're gonna be surprised what kind of evidence they come up with.
Do tell later.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching All Four Downs. Tune in next week. We'll be starting our broadcast Thursday 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just before our Thursday night football. And throughout the game, we'll be discussing not only the victories, but our picks and everything else. You're watching and tuning in to All Four Downs.